Hello there and welcome to the Points Performance Podcast. This is episode 39. This week I'm joined again, two-time guest, by Alex Lenkowski. Alex, introduce yourself, pal.
Yo, thanks for having me back, mate. I believe
Pleasure.
you got me back for a good purpose to discuss my adventures over the past weekend.
Yeah, 100%. So tell us what you did this weekend, mate.
So me and my brother embarked on the 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours running challenge, which was initially kind of done by David Goggins, former US Navy SEAL, who basically is just a bit of a nut job, really.
That's a fair description. I think you'd accept that.
Yeah. So I think the original story of how it came about was there was a 100-mile ultra endurance event just running around a circuit, and I think Dave Goggins turned up with like a deck chair and a box of crackers, and then this other guy, I think he was businessman who fairly well off, was doing it as a team relay with a few other guys, and he was just looking at this guy Dave Goggins, who was like running with shit pouring down his leg, bleeding from his arse and stuff like that, and I don't know how graphic you want to make that, but he thought, right, this guy's like mental, and he went and asked him to come and live with him for a week. So he went to live with him for a week, and one of the things that came out of that was Dave said, right, well, we're going to go for a run for 4 miles every 4 hours for the next 2 days. And he was like, you're crazy, we haven't got time for that. He was like, we're going to make time for that. So he was like literally waking him up at 4 a.m. To drag him out for a run. So yeah, we thought we'd give it a bash.
It's a cool challenge, mate. Like as far as they go, it's like it's like a bit of an accomplishment, isn't it? So it's a little bit of a badge of honor just doing that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's not something I'm going to put on my CV, but it's like you go through it and you think, well, can I do it? Have I got the discipline to get up at midnight and 4 a.m. and go out and do something that's really uncomfortable, really for the sake of just doing it? Because that was what we initially set out to do. It was we were just going to do it to see if we could, which there's no finer way of finding yourself and finding your strengths and how do you find where your limit is?
Is it seven? Is it 7 sets of 4 hours in? Is it 12? Like it's one of them, mate. Or is it 2? It's just good to know, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the only time that you will ever find the limit to your performance and your capabilities is when you go too far, and we haven't gone far enough this time, so we have to find something else now.
Yeah. So, did you do any training leading up to it?
I think
because you've done long runs before, haven't you? You've done have you done an ultra before? Is that what you've done?
Yeah, I did a baby ultra before that. I didn't do any training for. That was literally fresh off a broken leg. I'd been out of cast for a matter of months, and I'd initially joked around it a few months before that, where one of my clients said she was doing it. I was like, oh, I'll come do it with you. And it was like ha kind of thing. And then a few weeks beforehand, her partner pulled out of the race. And she was like, oh, do you remember when you said you were going to come and do it? She was like, well, there's a spot that's opened up. Do you want it? I was like, oh, fuck. It was like 2 weeks before the event. I thought, right, okay, what's the date? Have I got any football commitments? Have I got anything else planned? I was like, I haven't got anything else planned. So, I am free. If I lie about it, then, that's on me. So ended up doing that. For that, I did one training run of 7 miles. So that was just completely unprepared.
Jesus Christ.
It was like, right, turn up on the day. And sticking out like a sore thumb, like literally you got these bandy, like tall, rangy mountain goats. And then there's me that's like a short, squat, wide person carrying about 20 kilos worth of Lucozade in a rucksack. Like that was literally what I turned up like on the start line. It was like Lucozade, Vaseline, sun cream, and about a ton of water. It was mental.
Nipple bandages.
Yeah, so for this one I was a bit more prepared. I have been doing a bit more running. I've spoken to you a bit about that and what I've been up to, but I like to think that the foundation for being able to do this kind of thing was laid years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we were talking the other week on my podcast about, developing an athlete and raising an athlete. And, if you want to go and accomplish big challenges, it's not a case of, well, you go out and you just train for that one specific event. Like, you gradually build up to it. And one of the things Dave Goggins talks about is that when you train, you callous your body and your mind. That's what it is. So for this, it was, for about 7 years of being a PT, waking up at 4 a.m., like, that's fine. That's not a problem. I know I can do that. I know I can operate when I'm tired. And then as someone who's not a runner specifically, like, I hate running. I'm not a fan. I don't enjoy it. I prefer shorter distances. If you ask me to go out and run a 5K, I will hate you, but I'll do it. It was a case of, the foundational strength had to be there to be able to carry you through it.
Yeah. And mental strength, mate. Like, I bet there's better runners than you who've canned it.
Well, that was one of the things that came out in the ultra event. Like, I was just plodding off down a hill, and there was one of these, bandy mountain goat type people ahead of me.
Yeah.
Sat on a log, looking like he was a complete shell of a man. I was like, "You're all right, mate." I basically picked him up and dragged him to the next checkpoint, and then left him there, and that was it. So, I don't know. Like, for me, mental strength never really came into it, because probably more so on the ultra, I kind of thought beforehand, like, the only way that I am not finishing this is if someone drags me out of it, because I look too dehydrated. So that was why I was carrying the ridiculous amount of, like, water and everything. Like,
did you drink it all?
Lucozade and no, did I thought I had like 3 I'll tell you what I had in there, right? I'm sure I had like 3 boxes of Jaffa cakes, about 8 bottles of Lucozade Sport, about 3 liters of water, no, 2 liters of water, and then, a load of sun cream, a load of Vaseline, and bag of gummy bears and stuff like that. And literally went through none of it. Like, drank some of the water, a few of the Lucozades, ate none of the Jaffa cakes. And so you don't need as much as you think, but that was the one thing that I knew, because I was completely underprepared in terms of the actual training. I could at least try and manage that on the day. I think I got cramp about 13 miles in, and I was like, "Oh man, here we go." Right, stumble through the rest of it.
A quarter of the way through, mate, you got cramp.
Yeah.
Was that like calves or legs or?
That was left hamstring, like left leg just completely just went, and I was like, "Oh."
It's probably something from your injury, isn't it? Something overcompensating at the time.
I was just kind of thinking, just relax. It's fine. You'll get through it.
Run slower.
Like, yeah.
Run fucking slower. It's fine.
I was like, well, you've had cramp before. You know how cramp feels. This is as bad as it gets. Just carry on. And that was it.
Brilliant. So you did it with your brother and another mate, was it?
Well, no, I did it with my brother. So my brother came to stay with me. We made our own little bubble, COVID secure and all that. And then it turned out that one of my former colleagues at 4 a.m. to keep him going and get him through it. And yeah, when I dragged my brother into it, I was kind of like, "Oh, have you heard about this challenge? Do you want to do it?" He was just went, "Yeah." So it was a really straightforward conversation. He came and stayed over. And the reason for that was, originally we weren't going to do that. We were going to do it separately and just, keep tabs on each other. Don't you want to do it together? Like, is it not going to be a bit unsafe running around the streets at like midnight and 4 a.m.? And I thought, well, yeah, I can understand that. But on the other hand, like, what crazy bastard's going to try and tackle someone who's out for a midnight and 4 a.m. run? Like, if you're that kind of psycho that's going to go out and do those kind of running.
Yeah, especially you. I don't think anyone's going to attack some massive shaved abominable snowman sort of looking bloke anyway. You'd be pretty daft to do that.
Exactly. Although, mate, like, honestly, the one thing I will say is there are some weird people out at midnight and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And also, like, the amount of shit that just gets left around on the streets. We went out and did one lap at midnight, and there was like some stuff that are being left out. And then you go out and you do it again, and that's gone, and something else has appeared, and there's like some sort of like wire cables and stuff. You just think, what are people doing? What
So weird.
People are fucked, man.
What did you do with your nutrition? Like, did you change anything, or did you just eat normally, or did you just have extra bits between runs, or?
Yeah, so the nutrition thing was quite interesting, because what was intended and what actually occurred were two very different things. I was originally thinking we were going to be really hungry, like ravenous throughout, and then we ate quite early. We tried to eat like 2 hours before the runs at like normal meal times. So we weren't eating smaller meals, we weren't eating more frequent meals. We were just getting energy in as we could. So we'd still have normal meal times: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I think, what did we have on Friday? I can't remember exactly what we had on the Friday. It was something shit. Saturday night was pizza, which was like a little godsend. And it was like, that was like one of those little mini wins. And it was weird because you find yourself looking forward. I found myself looking forward to a bowl of porridge on Saturday morning. I was out running at 4 a.m. and I just thought, do you know what? I can't wait till I finish the 8 a.m. run and I can have my porridge and like nuts, honey, and all that kind of stuff.
So what time, when did you do your first one?
So the first run was 8 p.m. on Friday night.
Yeah.
So and then it was midnight, 4 a.m., 8 a.m., 12 midday, 4, 8. It was just 8, 12, 4 all the way through.
Which was the hardest one? Was there any sets where you were like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do this, or it was physically hard?
All of them. It was. Do you know what? It was weird because I had a few niggles to begin with before we'd even set off. Like, I'd got shin splints like through the week before, and I've been doing quite a bit of plyometric work, and I just thought, oh man, this is just going to blow up on me. It's going to be agony. So there were ice packs in the freezer. There was icing after every run. I think the hardest runs probably, I mean, the nighttime runs were the hardest runs, like that's for sure, because the hardest thing was just getting up to get out the door. So like the time from getting back, got back at 8 o'clock, got back from the 8 o'clock run.
What time did you get back? Like, how long were they taking you around as well?
So I think, I can't remember what we were averaging on Strava. I think the first couple were like 40 minutes, and then they dropped off, and then we were like 50 minutes, 55 an hour. Chris was really struggling with his knees, big time. So it was literally like, I mean, he's like me, similar build, not a runner. And he's had a couple of knee injuries before, so his knees were blowing up on him. So it was probably, I think by the end of the entire thing, we were averaging around an hour, which is it's not a fast pace by any stretch, like at all. It was really, really easy pace to keep the heart rate down as much as possible.
Yeah, because you don't want to absolutely smash yourself and then just be in a bad way. So you get home. What was the process when you got back?
Depending on what time we were running, I was on strict orders to get a shower before turning up in the bedroom, for obvious reasons, being smelly and sweaty. So I'd say it was getting through the front door. It was hydrate, get some water, get a drink, get some electrolytes down. Didn't feel like eating, which was pretty common all the way through. So it was almost like you have an hour break after you run and then it's try and eat something. Yeah. So you just settle down first. But the night runs, it was literally shower, get the fresh set of running kit on, and then straight into bed, sleep, wake up half an hour before a run. Go for a little bit of pre-run mobility work and stretching, and then it was out the door, and that was it.
There's not a lot of time, is there? Like, no. You think, 4 hours, there's just no time. Well, you know, and the thing is, you're going to be like dawdling. You're like, you're a zombie, aren't you? I'm guessing.
And do you know what? It was, so the nighttime runs, that was what it was. It was literally shower, new kit, bed, sleep, straight away you're up, you go again. The daytime runs, you get back and you eat a bit of something and you chill out, you lie around. And then you're just like looking at your watch and you think, fuck me, I've still got 2 hours that I need to wait. And it like, you can't get back to sleep. You don't feel that tired. but it just drags on and on and on and on and on. And I remember before the last run on the Sunday, I was looking at my watch, I think I was watching the Liverpool v Fulham game, which was brilliant, by the way. What a day. What a day. Like Fulham beating Liverpool and then Man United beating City. Like that was just cherry on the cake. So anyway, I was sat there watching that and just thinking, like, it's 1:30 or 2:00. Can we not just go now? And we ended up having to wait. So it was quite strange. Like, there's definitely a big contrast. And then, like, middle of the night when you're tired, you're groggy. Chris was complaining about how the pavements weren't even. So, like, tree roots digging up through there, and he's like stumbling and tripping up over them.
Well, I mean, if you've got really sore knees,
mate, yeah,
you're going to feel every little dip in the ground, aren't you?
And to be fair, we were groggy. Like, there were times where I was like, there was I'll tell you this. This is actually pretty gross, right? So, for the Friday, Saturday, and the first 2 runs on the Sunday, the midnight and the 4 a.m. runs on the Sunday, I'd worn sort of the same running bottoms, obviously changing the pants underneath, but the same running bottoms over the top, and then the same kind of like pullover, like running top. So it was starting to get a little bit pungent, a little bit fragrant, a little bit smelly, and I think I'd put my coat on for a 4 a.m. run on the Sunday, because that another weird thing was that we started to get really cold at times. It was just strange. So I'd worn a coat over the top. I got a bit more sweaty on this run. And then the next run after that, I went to get my key out of my pocket and I couldn't find it. I was fumbling around for it, couldn't get it in the lock. And I was trying the wrong key in the wrong lock because I was tired. And then it was when I bent my arm to do the top lock, it was almost like, you know, when you wring a towel, and it was just that, sweat just poured out. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to need to change this top now. So I was going to try and see if I could. I was going to think, could I wear it for the entire time? And I thought, nah, it's just getting really gross now. Like, it's just weird. So yeah, that going back to what I was saying about being cold, like the one of the weird things with it was obviously because recovery is being consistently disrupted with like going for a run, then you go into recovery mode, you go for a sleep, you eat, then you got to go for another run. So it just shuts everything off. We'd get home and we'd feel fine. And then so like half an hour later, we would be freezing cold. And like you're having to put like woolly hats on, coats on. And like, even though the heating was on full blast and you'd be getting into bed, but you just feel really, really cold. It was just, and I don't know whether that was down to that. So,
yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? So it sounds to me like it's just been more of a mental battle all the way through it. Getting yourself up, having a shower, eating what you can. It just sounds like it was all in your head. And obviously your brother's knees, but mostly in your head.
It was definitely in his knees.
How is he now? Is he paying for it now? Or
I don't know if he's pain free now. I think he's feeling a lot better. I don't know if he's pain free now. I felt absolutely fine. I think just kind of looking back at when he was struggling, he would kind of deflect it and go, oh, like, because again, going back to the mental battle, he would kind of, he knows what's going on. He knows what's going on with his body. So for him to not focus on him, he goes, oh, how are you feeling? And that's the one question you never want to ask. You never want to be asked.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get caught up in your own feelings and how you're feeling, how the body's feeling, you've got two ways you can go about it. You either acknowledge your pain and you live in it and you kind of experience more of it. You experience more of it to a higher volume because you pay more attention to it. Or the second option, which is always my preferred option, is you lie. You say, I'm absolutely fine. Yeah, I feel great.
It's like you feel it twice if you admit it.
Yeah.
Because you're in pain, you know you're in pain, but to go, yeah, my fucking ankles are in bits, then you're like, all right.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one. Maybe like maybe you don't ask how you feel and you just claim that you feel mint. When the impulse to ask how somebody's feeling comes up in those situations, just be like, I feel fucking mint.
Yeah. Or I think one of the things that we kind of did when we were prepping for a kayaking challenge last year before lockdown kicked in was we'd be out on the water, it'd be freezing cold, pitch black, you couldn't see a thing, and you just shout out just like, how fucking awesome do you feel right now? And it's like 10 out of 10. So you just completely flip it the other way. So pain is good. Pain is great.
Picks you up, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's next, mate? Like,
no, I don't know. Have you got any suggestions?
I mean, if you could go back to your kayaking one, I thought that was really cool.
Well, we do still want to do that, but I don't think it's not happening this year either.
Right.
So we would like to do that. That's 125 miles, I think, from Devizes in Wiltshire, is it? And then you paddle down to Westminster. It's a good long challenge, about 24 hours.
That's a bit.
I think it's the Kayakers Everest is what it's called.
Right.
So I don't know. I do fancy doing that, but with the way of the world at the minute, I'm kind of tempted to create something off my own back and just go and do something completely.
Instead of doing something that somebody's already done.
Yeah. So if you've got any ideas or suggestions, then yeah, I'll happily take them on board.
CrossFit Open this weekend.
There's I mean, when you said, just going back to when you said it's a mental battle. I mean, it is like that challenge that we did this weekend wasn't 100% only mental, because you can run 4 miles. You can run 4 miles. You can run 4 miles and you could walk 4 miles in an hour if you were walking quickly. So the distance, the pace, the intensity is negligible. It's just, can you wake up? Can you combat the fatigue? And can you just keep doing it again? And again, it's pretty boring. Like, it's not exciting at all. Like, you're running. Running's boring. Can you either make it a game, or can you get hooked on just chipping away bit by bit by bit, rather than focusing on?
It's just discipline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just discipline and being like, yeah, I'm going to do it because I've started it. I've decided to do it. Just keep pushing through it.
Yeah, and for that purpose, I'd recommend it to anybody that thinks that they aren't disciplined, that does want a bit of a challenge and wants to push themselves or find out, what they're made of, what the minerals are like. Go and do it. Just go and try it and see how your body gets on, see how your mind gets on, see how you cope, because
anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like, anyone could do it. Like you said, it's not a really tough distance. It's not a tough task. But can you just do that? Can you carry on?
I mean, I know we say anyone could do it. I think someone who's, a parent with 2 kids or like has lots of work commitment might struggle. They might be shouting at us a bit there, but
weekend, get some babysitters. You could do it, is what I'm saying. It's not like that's impossible to do for someone. If you want the challenge, of course. And if you're listening to this podcast, you probably you're already on the same hymn sheet as far as fitness goes. This isn't fitness, though, is it? This is a bit different. I'm just imagining if Big Boris manages to get through this thing where he's planning on paying people to exercise, I'd be quids in. Yeah, I don't understand that. What is that? Is that a real thing? Yeah. I think it's rumoured to be something that they were considering putting out there. Paying people to exercise. Yeah. Cool. Will he pay him to stop eating loads of shit and getting smashed twice a week on beer as well? I don't think there's anything that will stop some people from treating themselves like shit, unfortunately. That's the thing with this. It's just so individual, isn't it? Like, there's no way of, you could pay someone. I know people who are like, do exercise, but they just live and eat like crap. So it just doesn't matter. They still got the body composition of someone who doesn't do anything and eats really badly. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a steep learning curve, but there's simple ways to get around it. And if you get the right help and you've got the right coaching,
it's easy. Like once you make it a habit, it's so simple.
I think you need to be ready though, don't you? You need to be ready for it to make the change. Like if someone just came up to you and said, I'm going to pay you 25 quid to go run around the block, you'd be like, yeah, all right. You do that once. But then you won't do anything else. I think you need to be ready. You need to be at the point where you're looking on Google or whatever, or you're looking for a gym or a coach. You're looking for help instead of being like, here it is. Here's the help. Take it.
Yeah.
Just needs to be in the right mind space for it.
It's getting people in that space.
How do we do that? I was talking to one of my clients this morning. How do we do that? How do we get it into everybody's heads how important it is to be fit and healthy, or to be at like some level of fitness? Because it's the thing is, it's such a taboo thing. We say this every time we chat.
It is because the socially acceptable, or the only socially acceptable point of view, is to be all inclusive and, you know, include everybody, and everybody's deserving, and everybody's happy, and everybody's got access to something that is fucking irrelevant to them. And I mean that, you know, I 100% buy into just treating people on an individual merit. Like, I don't care whether you're black, blue, green, white, weak, strong, fat, skinny. Makes no difference. Like, you're still a person. Like, you've still got a mind, you've still got a brain. It's like, you tell me what you want to do and I'll help you get there.
Yeah. I think the problem is that people don't believe that themselves. People don't believe that they are equal in the way that healthy people are healthy, which is great. That's what we want. We want more of that. Unhealthy people are unhealthy, and it is an issue, whether you think it's like sad or it hurts somebody's feelings or not.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, your feelings don't change facts, and the facts are that certain health markers are going to be negative to you in your life. And if you want to look at it this way, which is the way the media has been spinning a lot of things, it's going to damage the NHS and put them in a bad state.
I mean, that's the media does not the media. The one thing that I normally tell my clients is, look, the universe doesn't give a fuck how you feel right now. Like, it really doesn't. Like, it's, you're feeling this, and it's you alone that is feeling this and experiencing this. What do you want to do about it?
Feelings don't change facts.
No, they like your emotion is just your emotion is just like an electrochemical signal in your brain to get you into motion, get you to move, to do something, to change something. So whatever you're feeling, it's your brain communicating with you that something is not right. It's not the way you want it to be. I think in terms of actually changing people's attitudes en masse, I think there's one way I thought about this, is that we need to make it socially unacceptable to be unhealthy. We need to make it socially unacceptable. I think you go to certain towns, certain communities, places around the world. I think certain places in Denver where, I mean, it's at altitude. Everyone's a fucking runner. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the community, or like even, you know, like the blue zones where these people have a ridiculous lifespan living beyond 100, and like, you know, so many people in the population are living far, far longer, active, healthier lives. I think we need to kind of grow that to, like, why should that just be restricted to certain communities that live beyond 100, like in a healthy fashion, like without the need for consistent visits to hospitals, doctors, care homes, and, you know,
pills.
Like when I was on holiday in Crete a few years back, and there was like this 100-year-old woman carrying a sack of olives down a fucking hill, and I thought, like, there are lads in the UK that won't do that. Not that they just can't do it; they just refuse to do it. And there she is, just like a camel, like a little donkey, and she's just plowing away, and she looks like 150 years old. So. I think that's one thing, and then I think the other thing which we could do is reduce the level of oxygen in the atmosphere, just push people's circulatory systems to work a bit harder. Like if we put everyone at altitude and just we elevate the surface of the earth to where the air is thinner, I think that will encourage cardiovascular systems to
sort of realistic level
to evolve. I think to evolve.
It's funny you said that, like socially acceptable. Like times have changed, haven't they? Because, say for example, when we were at school, I'm not saying this is right, but the fat kid would get bullied. The fat kid would be like, "You are fat," and for better or for worse, it was something that needed to be pointed out, or was pointed out, wasn't it? You're heavy, you're fat. And usually you could see like it elicited a positive change. Someone might be like, right, well, I'm not going to be fat anymore because I know it's bad because people keep taking the mick out of me. Obviously, that's not the reason why being fat is a negative thing. It's because it's going to damage your health and your relationships in the long run. But now it's like everybody's the same, everybody's beautiful, everybody's magical. It doesn't matter that your heart rate's at 100 and you've just walked up the stairs, or 140, you've just walked up the stairs. No, that is a problem. That is an issue, whether you think it is or not, whether you think it's beautiful or not, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So it's weird how it's come round like that. And like, I think what you're saying is that it should just be just a little bit more like, if you go to the doctor, it should be like, this is an issue. We need to lose some weight.
But I think doctors are doing that. I just think people are losing the lack of will to actually accept it or hear it.
Do you think that you hear some horror stories with doctors, don't you, though? Like they don't know how to help somebody in that situation, because it's like, well, go for some walks, and that's fine. It probably would help, but it's not. As you said, everybody's so individual. Everybody's different, so they're going to have different needs.
But it comes down to your level of expertise. I mean, as coaches, like I've done qualifications in nutrition, strength and conditioning, movement, rehabilitation, mindset. Like there are so many things that come into looking after a person and helping them overcome certain obstacles, which they're inevitably going to face when they're going down the route of changing their life. And GPs aren't trained in that.
No,
like they're just not. So the ability for them to actually help them, you say, well, just lose weight, eat less, move more. And
you're right. Of course, that's right.
Yeah, it's like, well, brilliant. I mean, that is not incorrect, but it's far from useful. It's like saying someone wants to be rich, so you go, well, we'll just spend less and save more. It's like, well, fucking cheers, dickhead.
No shit. Like,
then what?
Just go and earn some more money. Just go and work. Just work harder. Right.
So then you need actual strategies to put into place, and then the support that comes along with it. I mean, I think the problem is there's a tidal wave of support against people who are actively getting fit and healthy. I know my girlfriend Fiona, she's had people where she works who have kind of questioned, like, are you all right? You're looking really skinny. You look and I'm like, I'm in disbelief. I'm like, that person needs a slap. Like, tell me that you sat them down and said,
what's frightening as well is that your Fiona works at a school. She's a teacher. And that's terrifying. I'll say it, like there are a lot of professionals out there, health professionals, GPs, doctors, in my experiences in hospitals and doctors' practices, and they are in shit state. They are way overweight. Whatever. Doesn't mean they do a good job or a bad job. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they are massively overweight. So and at schools as well, teachers, parents in the schoolyard when I pick up my son or daughter from wherever. Parents are massive. So yeah, it's a problem, that, mate. It's scary. It's scary. Like for kids to carry on seeing people who they should be looking up to and seeing that they are of a certain shape and thinking that that's normal. is an issue. And usually you see it, don't you, with kids? If the parents are big, the children are usually big as well.
And I think that's the saddest thing, because the kid doesn't know any better. The kid literally cannot be expected to know what appropriate eating, what a healthy lifestyle is. And, you know, I think that's just a perfect example of, like, if you're a parent, you are a role model, 100%, because what you do and the way you behave, the way you act, the way you speak, the way you think is going to be picked up on, and it's going to be replicated by the young person that is looking up to you as an example of how to live.
100%. And I know that as a parent, you know, like sometimes you'll be talking to your missus and you'll drop a shit bomb, and then the baby will go, "Oh shit," and that happens. It might have happened the other day. But if you carry on eating a certain way, and you don't exercise, and you just sit there watching telly all day with developing severe kyphosis, and then you turn around and look at your kid one day and he's just sat there with a little pot belly bent over with his head a day in front of his neck.
I think that's one of the scary things. I think they've started to find bony spurs developing on the back of the C-spine. It's like the back of your neck in kids as young as 10, 11 and 12, purely because, like, when they're texting, they're on the phone, like, it's that forward head posture. They've actually found bony spurs developing on the back of their necks, which is going to hinder their posture and their ability to actually look up for the rest of their life. That 100%. Is disgusting.
Terrifying. We're going a weird way, aren't we, mate? The human race is going a weird way.
We're devolving.
We are. We're regressing anyway. It's weird. Maybe we need a real epidemic to come and wipe all the weak ones out. You know, like a proper one that actually kills people.
Well, we're not going to get into that too much because that's going to be a slippery slope, isn't it? But I don't know whether I was speaking to you about this the other day, but I would like to put together a battery of tests that kind of measure, you know, your chances of surviving COVID. Like, for example, let's take the 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. I wonder how many people who complete that, either like last year or this year again, will die from COVID.
I think because you said, like, I bet everyone who can snatch 100 kilos will not die from COVID.
Yeah, the death rate from COVID in people who can snatch 100 kilos,
it's got to be like zero.
Nil.
It's got to be zero.
No.
It's got to be. Unless it was that bloke who fell off a ladder, because he died from COVID, didn't he?
Oh, if he had a positive test, yeah, 28 days. Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I do think, like, having a moderately respectable VO2 max, 40, 45, depending on your age, you know, that's enough for a weekend warrior. Like, that's fine. Like, that is probably going to see you through what the current situation is. A body composition of something under 18% would be pretty solid, I would imagine. Like, you don't have to be completely shredded. You don't have to be 3, 4, 5%.
Hell no.
You don't even have to be 10% where you know, like most people at 10% are fucking ripped anyway. Like, they're absolutely shreds. So, you know, I don't think you need to even be as low as that, but, you know, get under 18%. And, yeah.
Have some leg mass. I think I cite that study all the time. Like, the more leg mass you have, the longer you're more likely to live.
Yeah. I'd like to put the entire population through some sort of NFL combine test.
Yeah. I'd say like a leg press, grip strength, some sort of deadlift and carry, and a VO2 max test.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it has to be like they're like, because it's like, can you pick shit up? Can you push something with your legs? Can you carry something a distance? And can you breathe for fucking 20 minutes?
Yeah, no, that would be pretty much perfect.
And then it's like, if you're not at these levels, then like, well, you need to get there then. And I'm not saying that like we outcast these people or whatever, but it's just like, God, let's have some standards and your quality of life will massively improve. Massively. And it'll be longer. And, you know, you won't be worried about anything. Apart from falling off a ladder. But yeah. Well, we went on that tangent. We went where we always go. And that's fine. But I wanted to mention as well, you did the 4x4, 48 hours. What did you do at the end of it?
At the end of it, so right, I'm going to go back a little bit on this because all the way through, I would say Chris was slightly irritating in that when we were out running, he would just pull slightly ahead, like talking 10 yards, less than that. And I just thought, what are you doing? Like, there is no need for you to be over there. So I thought, you know, I'm all right with it. And every now and he was very two-paced with his running, so sometimes he'd get away and then sometimes he'd come back. And I was running at a very consistent pace, consistent cadence, consistent stride length, and feeling very comfortable, very happy. Like every time I got back from a run, I still felt fresh, like I could have gone for a lot longer. And then when we got to the last two runs, we decided we were going to round it up to 52 miles or 52.4 to make it a double marathon, essentially.
Sick.
And the very final run, I thought, right, you're on toast now, boy. So I was like, right, I'm going to run off. I'm going to run ahead and I'll meet you at, and I was just kind of like pointing out landmarks to him because I knew the route. I was like, we're going to run to there, meet you there, run to there, meet you there. And there were the points where I was kind of stood around for, you know, a good couple of minutes waiting. And he'd turn up and I'd be like, yeah, right. And he was like, my knees.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went through that. We got home. And I was sat on the wall at the end of the driveway. And the last couple of 100 meters, I'd just recorded a couple of videos and I'd recorded Chris coming down the road. So I sat on the wall and I was basically just piecing it together, cropping it together. And he was stood at the front door. I've got the keys. And he's like knocking on the door. Fiona, my girlfriend, turns up to the door. She's like looking around. She's like, he's got the keys, pointing at me. So then Chris turns to me and he goes, are you going to let me in or what then, you dickhead? I was like, all right, yeah, well, I'll let you in. So just obviously then got my ass up off the wall, let him in through the front door. And then it was literally just the most anticlimactic thing. It wasn't like running down the road, you know, when I went out for a run, when everyone was out clapping for the carers and stuff like that, like turning up back at your house, coming down the final stretch, waving at all your neighbours. That was class. It was nothing like that. You just kind of turn up. Right. Fiona goes, oh, well done. Dinner's in. And I was like, all right. So
what time was that last one then, the 13th run?
It was 4 o'clock in the evening. Run number 12, yeah. 4 o'clock in the evening. So we got back, it was about 5 o'clock. I'd got Fiona to pause the United and City game.
The important things taken care of.
Yeah, so I literally just went upstairs, had a shower, got changed, sat down, and that was it. We just chilled out and
early night.
Done. Yeah, literally early night. I think because literally the only thing that I did struggle with was I was a bit sleepy. Like other than that, I had maybe a little bit of soreness on the top of my foot where my laces were too tight and my feet had swollen up a little bit and it was digging in. No muscle ache, no knee joint pain, hip pain, no back pain, no ankle pain, like nothing. Just a little bit tired. So I was in bed at like 8 o'clock on Sunday night, 8 o'clock on Monday night, 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. And I felt class, absolutely class. Because I think overall from each one, we probably got 4.5 hours sleep per night.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't, even then it wasn't too bad. I mean, you just down a little bit on what you'd normally get, but yeah, no, it was all right. So it was really, really, really boring, really anticlimactic, nothing outstanding, nothing. You know,
but it's good memories, mate. Like, and you've got it in the bank now. I know you said you wouldn't put it on your CV, but like, when anything comes up that's like similar, you know, you've got that capacity in you.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's just something that fitness gives you in general. It just gives you that certainty of like, yeah. I know.
I've been thinking about this with the Open. I've been thinking like, because I've been thinking like, oh, am I better than last year? Am I better than not last year? Am I better than a year and a half ago when the last one was? And I'm like, yeah, I am, because of all the stuff I've done between, all the extra skills I've picked up, everything I've increased. It's like every bit of work I've done has made me a bit better. And like, that's the same with fitness. It's like, you can run that distance because you've done all the years, all the movement, all the stuff you've put into it in between. It just all adds up to you being able to do it.
Yeah. And I'd be very interested, because I don't know, I think I'm kind of at the point now where someone could go, "Oh, do you reckon you could do that?" And probably wouldn't really matter what it was. I'd be like, yeah, probably. Yeah. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe now you need to go the other way though, and just like pick something else. Like, can you max out your squat, bench, and deadlift?
Hey mate, do you know what that'd be? I don't know. I've never
Slightly
actually
more fun.
I don't know if it would be more fun, because I've always found that, like, that type of training, because I have implemented bits of it before, there's just too much rest. There's too much sitting around doing nothing.
Well, I've seen stuff like there's that there's the 500-pound back squat 1 mile run test that got completed by Adam Klink, and he did 50 pull-ups as well in a set. I've seen Austin Maliolo do I think it was like a 600-pound deadlift and a marathon in the same day. I think he did it the deadlift first and then the marathon. Well, yeah.
I mean, there was didn't someone do like a 24-hour Murph?
Oh, well, God.
So something like that, I think...
No.
That'd be... Yeah, I'd be up for something like that.
I think at these challenges, I think about, right, how's that going to affect my training though? Do you know what I mean? I always think like that. I'm like, right, but what about like this?
Yeah. I mean, for me at the minute, American football, there's nothing going on, so it don't really matter. Like, normally most people are going, "Oh, well, isn't the running going to ruin my playing?" Well, no, not really.
Nah.
Not really.
Nah. You're way out from sports specific anyway, aren't you, at the minute? Like, you don't know when it's going to start again, so.
No. But I think, and even, because I've got a couple of guys who are running and building up to some long running challenges that, they may be a little bit concerned about where that's going to take them away from the sport and it's going to hinder their performance. And I'm like, no, it won't. You do far too much of your sport anyway. You're just going to get really good at this. And if anything, you might get a little bit better at that as well.
Yeah, I've just I've been talking to a lad who wants to start programming for weightlifting when the gyms open up, and he was like, "What should I do in the meantime?" I was like, "Whatever you want. Just do some GPP, learn how to do pistols, handstands, like just do some stuff that's different, that feels good, and there's like the skills that are gonna probably make you better. A better handstand will make you better at jerks. Better pistols will make you better at standing up squats and single leg splits, like your jerk and all that sort of stuff. There's loads of things you can do. But
transferable skills, isn't it?
Yeah, people do get worried about that. That'd probably be a good topic.
GPP, specificity.
Or non-specificity.
I mean, I do think that people get overly carried away with specificity from time to time, where we've got like, if I ever see a footballer with his leg strapped up to a cable machine doing crossbody leg pulls mimicking a kicking motion, I'm going to slap him daft, because it's just not necessary. You do too much kicking. You do a lot of kicking.
But why would you do a slow heavy kick when you never kick slow and heavy anyway?
I mean, people think like, I can build up my strength in this, which is going to increase my kicking power, and you're just saying, well, no, not necessarily. Like, there are far more beneficial things that you could do to either injury proof yourself and generally get stronger and more explosive than strapping your leg up to that, which is probably more likely to just lead you to injury.
Yeah. Make you ping one of your adductors off.
Yeah, at the very least, a muscle strain or some form of long-term tendinopathy. That's going to be absolutely fantastic for your playing career, isn't it? Like, good luck. Enjoy it. So, yeah, people get carried away with specificity. And sometimes it's just the work that you do in the gym, especially if you do play professional sport or very high-level sport, it is general prep. It's restoring balance to the body. That's the job. That's what it needs to do to allow you to continue to do everything else that you want.
Yeah.
So
to enhance it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant, mate. Well, this has been nice.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to the next crazy challenge that you end up doing. But yeah, hopefully it's not a running one. Do something else.
Yeah, no, that was the final thing that I'm just really glad. Like, I know I've seen the weather the last couple of days where it's just pissed it down constantly. I'm just glad that it didn't rain at any point. We had probably the most weatherless conditions you could possibly have. Wasn't hot, wasn't cold, wasn't wet, wasn't windy. I was happy with that.
Class.
So I probably won't do it again.
Yeah, nah, I don't do it again. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.